Hi, this is Tweek. This is a quickie episode. I found some yellow beads and we're going to make some chicks just in time for spring. Join us. Supplies you need for this project are: you will need yellow beads. We're making chicks. You will need some beading wire, a few tools. I've got a curling pliers, a cutting pliers, and a regular needle nose pliers. I've got some crimping beads, your color choice of beads for the eyes, and a pin to use for the nose. So let's get started. To make our little chick, we will need 2 cluster balls, one a full cluster and one a half cluster. I'm using the same size beads for these. I believe this is a size 6, but whatever choice of bead you use, the size will determine the size of the chick. So I've got a cluster ball here. I'm going to make a half very quickly. Count them out: 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I laid out my 20 beads now. We'll need 20 to do the half cluster. And if you'd like to see a link on how to do that a little more slowly, because I'm going to zing through this one, check the link right here. And on we go. We've got our 20 beads lined up. I'm going to get some wire. This is a 0.18 beading wire. I don't need a whole lot, but I like to use more than less because it gives me more options in tying it off in the end. So this is a half cluster. We've got probably about a foot of wire here. We do our first 5 beads. Here we go. Giving a good tug. This is good strong wire. Now we're just going to very close as we can snip to that knot. Try to get a little bit closer there. Okay, our half cluster is done. I'm going to put the little eyes and the nose for the chick on here, eyes and the beak, and I'm going to look to make sure where that knot is. I want that in the back. I don't want that in the front, because what I'm going to do here is look for a space in the bead. You see a little triangle. That's where I'm going to put the beak. And I'm going to use a head pin for that. This head pin has a little ball on the end of it. I'm going to stick this through that spot and manipulate it to be a beak. To do that, I'm going to use one of these elongated beads. I was lucky to find these, and I'm also lucky to have a good tool that's going to cut this bead in half. So just got to trust yourself, because, you know, beaks come in all shapes and sizes, so this is going to work. Just get a grip on there, and I cover my hand because I want it to fly, and cut it in 2 pieces. See that? Now they're more of a, to me, beak size. So I'm going to put this pin through the top of that, and we have our beak. See? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this pin into that little triangle, and you'll see that it becomes the chick's beak. The 2 spots here are going to be where the eyes rest. So right now, first, I'm going to get a little bit of wire and add the eyes. Don't need a lot of wire for this. Now that we've established where the beak is going to be, see, doesn't that work out great? I want that spot on either side, and I'm away from the knot. I just don't want the knot on this to complicate any of my... Yep, it does. Got to go over one. Okay, the knot is way back there, because I'm going to come in with the wire 2 beads over from where I'm putting the beak. So I'm just going to come in with the wire. Well done. 2 beads over, Actually, it's 3. Okay, we're going to come in 1, 2, 3 beads over. So you're going to push the wire through. Okay, now I'm going to add a bead for the eye. Would you like a gold eye? I'm going with blue. I like these little sparkly blues. It's not really sparkly, but I like the color of it. I'm just going to add this bead. So you could do any color bead you wanted for the eyes. And that bead's going to rest in that spot there. And then what I'm going to do is come up just above the beak is another triangle. See that? So I'm going to push the wire through that. And that's going to hold that eyeball in place. Right now it's very loose because I haven't tied anything down, but you can see that's where his little eye is going to be. Now I'm going to bring this same wire I just used, and I'm going to come back through this space. And I'm not worried about the wire is going to be stopped by the piece of the wire in the triangle. So I'm going to come back up. And now you see how that is held in place. The eye is held in place by that little triangle that's over the beak triangle. Now we're going to add the other eyeball. And that one's going to sit in this space. And you're going to come back again to that third bead. 1, 2, third bead from the beak. And go down through. And what you will have is... And I think I'm getting 2 beads there. I'd really just want 1. Here we go. There it goes. Now you've got your little eyeballs are in place. See? And the beak I will attach. So now you've got your reference of what the little face is going to look like. Pretty cute, huh? Yeah, I like these blue beads. And now I'm just going to run these 2 wires like I did with the top of this half cluster. Take the beak out for now. I'm just going to run them along. I would like to try to get the 2 pieces to meet so I can make a knot. So now those 2 wires have met, and now we're going to make a knot. I kind of wish I'd left myself more wire there. Okay, 1 knot there. It's easier to work with if you have a little more wire, but we got it here. Okay. I need help here. Jerk on that thing, really make that strong. So now you see, we cut this off. You barely see that other knot in there. And this chick has got his eyeballs, but I need to attach his beak. It's a beak. Okay, so the beak, we know where the beak goes. It goes into that little teeny triangle between the eyes. I'm going to push this through that spot. And we'll let it come through the back of his little beady head. I'm just going to let it rest. Okay, then I'm going to use this wire to bend over the back of his head and come back up through his head. And that holds his beak in place. And since this is going to be on his body, that's not going to go anywhere. You can, if you want to, let me get my curly, curl it in a little tighter if you want. But as long as it doesn't come out. So we've got his little head done. He needs his body. Now that's a full cluster. The same size bead. He's a little round chick, so full cluster. If you want to see the link as to how to make this, we have done those videos, and there's one right there for you to look at. So I've got this little beady body, and I want to put a base on him that might sit on its own, but I'd like a little more insurance. So I'm going to use one of these cat beads, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom. So when you sit him someplace, he's a little more stable, and that kind of acts like his feet. Use your imagination. Little silver feet. So what I do is I take some wire, because we're going to put his little body together now. I'm going to give myself a little more wire this time. Okay. And We're going to put this in since we want it to be facing down. I'm going to pick a spot underneath there and pick a spot across from that spot and push my wire through. And there we have his little base. You don't have to put another bead in there. You just let him sit where he's going to sit, and the weight of the beads will hold all that in place. The weight of his little fluffy body. Okay, so come through the bottom. Again, I'm going to kind of look for the knot, but I'm so good at hiding them. There it is. I'm going to put that on the bottom just so that I don't see it in the final product. And push through the other side. And his little beady self is ready to sit there. But that, to me, the wire's a little too wiggly. So I'm going to take a littler bead. I'm going to take one of the ones, take one of the ones that we used to make him, the same size bead. And I'm going to help plug up that hole and make this wire a little more stable. So take one bead, push it through, and it kind of caps that off. Makes it a little more sturdy. There's less wiggle room for that wire. And now we're going to put on his head. Since he's round, the head can go on any which way. You just make sure I'm pushing the wire onto either side of that wire that's holding his beak in place. So we're going through, wire on each side. And we're going to add his head. Isn't he cute? We are almost done with the little chickie. Now I do want another bead like the one I just used to help cap off its head there. Keep everything nice and round. Okay, here you go, chickie. You need... Boy, did I get way too much wire this time, but okay, we're going to run with it. Get the two wires through the bead. Let it come on down. And he's done except for I wanted just a little more whimsy on this little guy. So let's get a crimp bead. There's one. I want one bigger than that. Okay, here's one. So I'm going to put both these wires through, and that would come on down and meet. And to crimp him would be it. He'd be done, except I want to bring this back in, not to hang him, but to give him like little wispy hairs on the top of his head. I'm going to snip this off. Now you could leave it standing straight up like that, but I'm going to take my curling and just play around with the wire a little bit. The wire will play around. It won't stay tight, but that's okay too. Looks like he's got crazy little feather hair, right? And there you have it. Our little crazy chick is done, ready to peep his way into your celebration of spring. So if you like what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you know when another episode of Tweaks with Tweek is coming along. This was a quick one, very easy to do. Make your own little spring chick. See you again.